What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Maverick's Point of View. Back at y'all with another video. Today is Sunday, as usual. You know how it is every week. And we're going over gold today. Again, it's nothing new. What I want to say before I really start and go into this video is right now, we're going through some trench warfare. What does that mean in the gamer's world? That means we thugging it out, we roughing it out. It's not a simple time to trade right now. And I really say that for the retail traders, not us, because we can see things very, very clearly. But it's not fun to be a retail trader right now. I'll show you guys what I mean. It's a lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? If you're not familiar with looking at the big picture, and I'm gonna just give y'all the real breakdown. If y'all not familiar with looking at the big picture and y'all just looking at, the 4 hour, or some of these retail traders be looking at the 1 hour, it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot. It's still fine to me because I see the big picture, right? I can see opportunity all over. But for a lot of people, who are looking in, their zones or levels are getting invalidated and they're just confused, right? It's a big confusing time. They're trying to take out a lot of traders. That's what I'm really pointing out. I've been looking at it, as you guys know, for months, and I've been seeing that we're not in this. I'll show y'all right now. So what I mean is, y'all see how this is a smooth. As soon as it got out of this territory, it's smooth. It got above here, it's smooth. Even this rise is not bad. This drop was smooth. This right here is like choppy, and then we start getting choppy. We're choppy here. We had a smooth drop, and it's just kind of back and forth. So we're not like, obviously, like I said, it's a little bit hard for me to show you guys because I've been showing you guys the proper way to trade. I've been showing you guys how to look at the big picture and really just identify things for the long term. But for people who aren't looking at the charts like this, it's choppy right now. I ain't gonna hold y'all. They're sweating. They're sweating bullets. And there's a lot of upset people right now in the trader space. I'm gonna just say that. But what I will say is it is a good time to still learn because it forces you to look at the bigger picture. It forces you to look at all the data. It forces you to really, really, really trade how you're supposed to and not just kind of whimsically go about the charts. And that's good because if you can trade in the trench warfare, that means when things get smooth, it's butter. So let's go into the moves from last week. I'm gonna make this a quick one for y'all again. I fixed my video. It wasn't really nothing crazy. I just forgot to do it, and I was not redoing those videos. So sorry, not sorry. All right. So if you guys are looking at very closely, last week we really didn't have too much happen. Overall, we had a initial drop, which was about 10,000. I'll say 10,000 point. Yeah, about 10,000 points, and it went all the way down to 12,000 points if you started out the week with the sell. Um, Most people weren't going to do that because people don't trade off the weekly. The week continued downward. This zone is giving us problems basically, and I obviously I told y'all why, because there was a significant pivot. The buyers were here, so that means buyers are just sitting here waiting for the market to go back up, and they're trying to force the market to go back up and pretty much do this. This is what they want to see, all right? That's what buyers want. They want it to forever be buying, and people want to buy here because they're assuming that this is the buy low, sell high point. They're assuming that this is the buy low point right here. This zone is their buy low point. And so a lot of buyers are sitting here trying to push a lot of value and trying to get the chart back up this way to keep it simple. All right. Now, as I tell you guys consistently when I'm drawing on these charts and marking through these charts, I look at it from a step-by-step basis, a week by week, block by block, right? I separate it into blocks and phases so that way if when I look at the charts, I know what I'm looking at and I'm always in the right space at the right time, right? So it's not complicated, to be real with y'all. It's just clearing your mind and looking at the charts very, very openly. I don't have to really erase anything. I erased that little level because it was pretty insignificant. We had this nice zone here, and that is what we were working off of. We got this a little bit, right? This back and forth here was this. Now, I'm going to remove this because what I want y'all to do is look at the market a little bit better, like I do. And I just am extending this here, right? So let's move this up. So all I did was expand my matrix movement as I was looking at how the market opened through how do I explain that? Just as I was looking at the market open, I was starting to expand like what I was looking at because once I saw the drop was good, but it didn't really go down here quick enough, and it didn't give me that bounce. So I'm like, I don't like that move, right? I'm gonna take this zone out, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm taking the zone out because when I've seen this level right here is very significant. It's been one, two, three times it bounced again. Now it did get a little lower on the day, and this is the daily time frame, so I'm gonna still call this a lower low for all intensive purposes because we're still in our downtrend, right? So even though it failed to go any lower for the rest of the week and the week still ended up above this level, above this weekly zone, right? Remember, this is a weekly zone. This big yellow space right here is a weekly zone. As you guys have already known, I haven't changed much. This is also a weekly zone from before. And I'll show you guys. Look, from this, remember this? We talked about this already. So this was significant movement. It was a significant stop, boom, and it was a significant rise, and then a significant break and continued upwards, all the way. Oh, let me do a little bit more so y'all can see the top. So it continued upwards all the way up here. So this from here, this is about 120,000 points. So put it shortly, and before from here, that's also almost 90,000 points. It's 85,000 points. Let's just round it up, right? So long story short, this was a significant movement area, right? This was where a significant pause was in the market, and then a significant continuation. So when we see that, the market tells a story all the time. It's trying to do whatever it did in the past. It's looking at what it did in the past to continue to see what it might do in the future. That's accurate because we all look at the charts that way. That's how traders, who mark up the charts, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at past data to try and interpret or foresee future data. And if I'm making that simple, I'm looking into the past to see how I can make moves in the future. Right? Same thing, but I guess said a little simpler. So with that being said, I'm moving my matrix movement here so I can be a little more smoother. Right? I'm gonna keep it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on waiting for this level to break and waiting for it to either get up here and break this high or get down here and break this low. That's it, right? To keep it simple, if you're waiting for the lows to get broken, then you're gonna find yourself on the right side of the downtrend. If you're waiting for the highs to get broken, you're gonna find yourself on the right side of the uptrend. Right now, there isn't really a trend. That's the whole point that I've been making is that we're bouncing back and forth, right? This is up, down, up. Now it's not really going anywhere. We're not getting significant volume in the markets, probably because people are about to return. It's the 19th, which means it's like the midpoint of July. A lot of people are on vacation, a lot of breaks on vacation, so trading volume is not where it would normally be during the year, right? During the main months of the year, where everybody's on summer break, everybody out here having fun, right? So the markets are going to reflect that. Now, when they get back, we're going to start seeing more volume because that's going to be more traders back in the markets. For now, what I want you guys to do is just wait and be patient for the big moves. I know it kind of like it's like, it doesn't feel great to wait all the time, right? It doesn't feel great to be patient, especially when you can see moves on lower time frames. However, that's exactly what they want. They're counting on you to be impatient. They're counting on you to make a move and mess up. You know what I mean? And not wait and do your due diligence and wait for your proper moves. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be smart and we're going to wait. All right, I'm going to fine tune that in a minute. Let me see. Also, be advised, and I tell y'all this all the time, but don't expect the charts to be perfectly aligned with what you're doing, right? Perfectly aligned with these drawings. We just want this to give us a rough estimate of what the charts might do, right? The chart also might do this too. When it comes down here, because this is a significant weekly zone, the chart might just go back up. And I'm putting that there because that would mean that we're going back into the matrix and then coming back for this move, right? We just want to be able to identify quickly where our moves are, where's our opportunity, where might we take executions. I'm pretty sure I taught executions in the mini course, and if I didn't, I'm actually about to make another video on executions just because I want to fine tune how you guys look at executions, how you guys are getting into the market so you can actually make money, and then getting out. Right, those are important things. Learning how to get in the market is where the money's at. When you get in at the right spot, you're gonna make money. And the only at that point, the only hard point is holding your guns and sticking to your your game plan while the market's doing its rangy stuff. But if you're paying attention to all the data like I'm showing you, you're not going to find yourself in those pockets where you're guesstimating and wondering what the chart's going to do. You're going to pretty much know. As long as you're taking the right trade, getting the right entry, you're like 90% of the job is done at that point. So that's what I'm showing you guys. Anyway, I think that's about it for this day. I don't want to really go over too much. There's not really much to go over. I want to keep it super simple. We like I said, we did get this lower low here. It's still lower than these lows, and what I mean by that is the days are ending lower, right? And so the market is pushing lower. And I'm gonna just use a 12 hour to kind of show y'all what I mean. This is the back and forth, right? It looks like it's going back and forth between the zone, but we are getting a little bit lower. It's just not favorable. Like I still see, you know what I mean? The market's still looking like it's continuing that downtrend. I don't like to use trend lines too much, so I'm not gonna really keep this here. But just so y'all see what I'm seeing the market still look like it's still giving momentum downwards, even though we're looking like we're taking a pause. I'm just gonna keep this very, very simple and tell y'all, wait for the moves, wait for the setups. Don't be impatient. Part of the most part of this game is being patient and waiting for your moves. That's the biggest part of this game. Being patient and waiting for your moves, being patient and executing your game plan and not switching your game plan just because you want to take a trade, just because you want to make money. Trading is a long term game. And if you start treating it like a long term game, you'll start winning a lot more. So, anyway, that's it for this video. I won't make it too long. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. I'm going to make another video. We're going to go on to XRP and Bitcoin in the next video, and quickly summarize those two because there hasn't been much good movement. So, with that being said, thank y'all again for tuning in. See y'all in the next video. Peace.